Hello, in today's tutorial you're going to be learning about format options, which are available on Google Drawings and Slides. So as you can see, I have my logo here, which is an image. And this doesn't only work on images, but you can discover on your own what things it works on. I don't have the full list, but I believe it works on images, it works on word art, and some other things as well. So if I click it, immediately the Format Options button up here will appear, and also if I right-click it, Format Options will also be available in the list, and if I go into Format, Format Options will also appear there. Now, what exactly are Format Options? So if I click it, you see all these different categories of adjustments and changes you can make to the image. For example, if you go to Size and Position, this is basically everything you can do with your mouse by clicking and dragging at these points. But you can actually see the numbers and you can adjust them manually so if you want them really exact. And you can lock the aspect ratio, so I believe, no, but basically that means the length and width, the proportion of the length and width won't change when you drag the diagonal corners. Let's close this. If you go into recolor, you're given this really simple menu. Basically, it's a bunch of choices you have to recolor the image. For example, this should make it reddish. It's like looking at everything through a certain colored lens. And there's also a grayscale one, which just changes it to black and white. Or, oh, that's negative, not grayscale, sorry. That's, yeah. And you can reset it to no recolor if you want to get rid of it. If you go to adjustments, then you can adjust transparency, which would make it more transparent. That doesn't make it more faint. That just means that things behind it are more visible. For example, if I made a rectangle and put it behind it, now it's easier to see. While if I reset the transparency, then now you can't see the part that's behind the logo. So let's get rid of that. Oh, and this does, in fact, work for shapes, too. Sorry if I skipped over that. So brightness, you can control the brightness, obviously. Raising it to the max will make it white, and raising it to the minimum will make it black. But, for example, this just makes it look dark if you put it somewhere in the middle, and raising it up, not too high, like that, will make it really bright. You really don't need to use this unless you have a very dark or very bright image that you're using, and you need to make like visible. You can also adjust the contrast. So it might, if you raise anything to the max or minimum, it's not exactly going to look amazing. Let's get rid of these. Now, if you go to drop shadow, as you can see, if you open it, it automatically enables. You can disable that if you want. If I click out of this, then you'll see the drop shadow right here. Basically, it makes this look like a card almost that's sitting on a table. Now, with this, you can complicate things. You can make the shadow more transparent. I'll get to that in a second. Let's make distance bigger. That makes the shadow bigger because obviously you're holding it up higher. Blurry is... Oh, that just changes the blur. You can basically, it lets you customize everything. Transparency, if I just lower this, maybe not too much. Transparency makes it more transparent. If I lower the transparency, then it almost looks black. If I lower it to the minimum, then it is black. Which is why you want transparency to make it look more like a shadow than just a black square. Let's disable this. Oh, one more thing. You can also change the color of the shadow for some reason, which I've never personally done, but that's a feature. Now let's disable that, and let's look at reflection. As you can see, it's down there. I'm just moving this up so you can see. It's as if you were standing in front of maybe a lake, and you were looking at your reflection in the lake. That's kind of what it looks like. So you can see the regular image, which has its borders here, but its reflection is down here. Now, you can change the transparency of it, and you can Of course, you can make it invisible by raising it to 100%. And you can just make it fainter and fainter. Distance. That just changes how much distance there is between the image and its reflection. For example, if I raise that to the max, it's still not very far. Then I can change the size, which increases the length that is reflected. You see earlier only these icons here were reflected, right? Because they're at the bottom. But now the two T's start becoming reflected as well. Now I'll disable this and close that. Let me check some other items and see if format options works on them as well. I just found out that after experimenting with all of these things, format options are available for basically anything in the insert menu. It works for images, text boxes, shapes, tables, charts. Let's try diagrams. I haven't used these before actually. Yep, it's there for them as well. So let's just get rid of this. It does work for shapes. It works for images, text boxes, shapes, tables, charts, diagrams, word art, and lines, which are all the objects that you can insert. So let's just demonstrate it on a few. If you do it on our text box, for example, let's just go into format options. On our text box, you'll be able to see all the things we saw earlier, except adjustments because it's not an image. For example, I can enable drop shadow, I can enable reflection. You can also change text fitting and size and position. A lot of these, the text fitting and size and position are things you can change within the text box itself and its positioning like this. So let's just move that back into place. And format options does also work on word art. So like the drop shadow, it's there. Reflection, same thing. For tables, they have a little less options. It's just size and position and I believe text fitting. Nope, just size and position. Oh no, that's the line inside it. Yeah, text fitting is there as well. For charts, sorry, not charts, bar graphs, oh no, they are called charts in the insert menu. Charts, they also have full functionality. If you're wondering what a chart is, I'll make a tutorial on that later. And this is a line, and if this line works, then that means all the other types of lines should work. Size and position is there, as well as drop shadow and reflection. And that's really about it with format options, so thank you for watching.